And welcome to another pre-game episode on Recrutes.ca. I'm your host, Blain Potvin, also found on Habs Unfiltered. And I'm joined now by Grant McCagg, owner, operator, janitor, writer extraordinaire for Recrutes.ca. Welcome, Grant.
Writer extraordinaire. Okay, I'll go with that one. That one I'll accept. I like that one.
Okay. We're just I'm gonna spitball until I find the right mix.
Yeah. Not sure I like janitor though.
Well,
You know, I mean,
got a
custodian
custo-
sounds
custodial
more efficient.
engineer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're mixing it up just like you're mixing up your hat collection.
Oh yeah, I found another Habs cap. The other one, I think it was 0 for 3. So
Yeah.
found another one that was in my hat collection there, and I think this is the one. I might be wearing this one a lot
Well,
the rest of the
if it
year.
if it works, frame it, protect it, put it under glass.
Shellac it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may shellac it. Get
Michalak.
permanently to my forehead.
Speaking of Michalak, Mishak, we're gonna start
Oh,
with the Laval Rocket
segue.
and their game today against the Manitoba Moose. Later tonight, the Canadians take on their parent club, the Winnipeg Jets, but with Laval. Lindgren starts tonight, this afternoon's game, and Mizak. The pronunciation keeps changing from week to week. Um, he's playing tonight. Belzil plays his first game. Fleury plays his. He's back in the lineup. So, um, what's your thoughts on this afternoon's game with Laval?
Well, I was thinking I was going to have withdrawal symptoms on good defensive defenseman with Goulet gone, but we got Fleury coming back in, so it's just, a little older substitute, but I want to have an elite defensive prospect playing there again. So Fleury, I think Fleury still is in that category. Um, I thought he looked really good when he first started the season with Laval before his injury. So I'm expecting him to pick up the slack, and really happy with the defense so far this year. They've been really solid. With the couple of errors here and there. Olafson with
Yeah.
the gimme there last game, but he was having a great game too. It's funny. I
Is it
asked Joel about that, and he said, hey, I said, do you even say anything to him? No, you don't. You just, it happens. It's been a weird year. Sorry, you were going to say something there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a perfect pass, but it was to Cole Perfetti, who was laying in the
Yeah,
weeds,
yeah.
playing that. He anticipated that play perfectly.
That's Perfetti for you. That's
Yeah,
just a glimpse of what you're going to see in the NHL in a couple of years from that
Perfetti
kid.
perfection.
Oh, he reminds me of Suzuki in terms of
Yeah,
hockey sense.
yeah.
They're right at the very top. The last 4, 5 drafts, those two guys, elite hockey sense.
Now, in that game, Ryan Poehling displayed some really good offensive flashes. Can you give our listeners a little bit of a breakdown?
Oh yeah, he was really skating. I think it's pretty obvious that he spent a lot of his off season working on his speed, explosiveness. He uh, he could have had 2 or 3 with a little luck. I think he was all over the ice. He's been hustling since the start of the year, but we're slowly but surely seeing, the player that we expected to see last year, to be honest with you, at the Laval level, after starting his career with 3 goals in his first NHL game. And I think he's going to start producing at a good level. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see him getting a call up sometime in the next month. What are your thoughts?
I think it's possible, unless Bergevin finds a way to find a veteran center to add to the roster. It's a very good possibility that he gets called up because he is playing very well and could add that little bit extra size, a little bit extra speed to the bottom six.
Yeah, he's and unlike last year and even the year before, he's winning more faceoffs too.
Yeah.
I think he's improved in the faceoff circle, and that's important. Um, yeah, I think he could replace Evans and Byron in a heartbeat at center if he, as you say, he doesn't pick up a veteran center. I think there's a need there.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, normally most NHL teams and Montreal in the past have had, 6 or 7 natural centers in the lineup, and a couple of them are playing wing, But Montreal this year, a lot of games, it's been 4 centermen, and, you like to have those extra guys that can take a draw situationally and stuff. And I think that's something that the Habs are missing.
Yeah.
Byron, which we were talking about his face-off stats, not great, and hasn't taken a lot of them. Um, Evans has been struggling a bit offensively and stuff. So yeah, either Poehling or Vedamo, or pick up a veteran center. But I think they want another one probably in the top 13, 14 anyway.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they're going to aim for is the veteran aspect, and allow the younger guys to play in Laval. Like just Poehling has been playing very well. Vedamo looked extremely strong in the last game against Manitoba. So they're hoping that their development brings a couple more centers to the lineup next year. Is my view on what they want.
Yeah. Well, could be this year too. We'll see.
Could be.
Uh, you know, I mean, if you can improve from within without giving up any assets, we'll see. But yeah, I wouldn't doubt if one of those two gets the call up soon. They keep it up.
Especially with the inexpensive contracts that they're on.
True.
And now, speaking of the Canadians, they play a game tonight against Winnipeg. And the last game, Dom Ducharme's first as a Montreal Canadian head coach, started well, didn't end too well. So they're looking for some changes tonight. Allen's one change for sure. The roster isn't announced yet, but it looks like Evans is in and will be playing center. And Perry's been playing on the power play. So what is your thoughts on what's going to happen tonight?
Is Perry out? Is Perry out?
No, Perry's not out. He practiced on the power play at practice
Okay.
today.
So Byron gonna probably sit again, or Lekanen, or hard to say, I guess, at
Lekkonen's
this
in,
point.
Byron's in, Anderson's out. It looks like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
Because he was day to day, they weren't sure. But
and he didn't skate this morning.
and then I heard Toffoli um, was going to be back on the top line
Yeah,
soon.
he's moved up to wing on the right side in Anderson's spot.
Right. Okay. Well, uh, I guess um, he wasn't bad in that when he got moved up, but it'll be interesting to see how he does with Suzuki and Drouin.
Yeah.
He's a natural righty too, right? So that maybe it's funny, how injuries can sometimes give a guy opportunity, and maybe that sparks Suzuki, who hasn't been producing in the last 9 games. I think he has 2 points. So
Yeah.
um, get Suzuki the top goal scorer on the team on his side, and looks like maybe Drouin's looked a little rejuvenated too last game,
Yes, he
playing
did.
under his old junior coach. So that could be an interesting line. Hopefully, you know, uh, as we saw in the last one, that their top 6, right, pretty strong. It's funny though, their third line ended up maybe playing better than their second line. Actually,
Yeah.
they were pretty big, heavy line, with Appleton, Lowry, and Cop. It, if you get hemmed in your own zone with those 3 guys and they're cycling the puck, they can be a handful. So maybe we kind of underestimated a little bit just how effective that line can be when we were talking about it last game.
Mhm.
But with those 3 together, they certainly hemmed in KK's line on a few occasions and made it difficult for them. I think they have to keep it out of their own zone when that line's on. If
Yeah.
they can do that, um, certainly there's more offensive talent, I think, on Montreal's third line. So if especially if Armia is going,
Yeah.
he can be so inconsistent, as you know, and mm, I think he's had points in 3 of his 12 games so far this year, which is 7 points, right? But so it doesn't look so bad. 7 points in 12 games, but 9 of them he got goose eggs. So let's hope that this is the start of one of his positive streaks where he goes a few games and gets a few points.
Well, especially now, Ducharme's comments today, where he mentioned Armia and said that he sees a lot more offensive upside in his game, and that he wants to work directly with him to bring that out a little bit more. So perhaps he's going to give him more opportunities offensively starting tonight.
Well, I thought maybe they keep him on the top line there. Scored 2 goals, looked had a little bit of chemistry with Drouin, at least that nice 2-on-1. Um, as I had said, you know, maybe if he ever gets going, you put him on that line and drop Anderson back with Foley and KK. You know, which line do you check? I mean, none of them are great, but none of them are bad either. So one of those 3 lines is getting a third line from another team and could maybe take advantage of it. So that it would be important, I think, to get Armia going, and it might even balance the lines a bit if he ended up playing on that top line again. But Toffoli gets the opportunity, and it'll be also interesting to see how he looks with those guys. So
Exactly.
I think Ducharme's, he's a little more willing to get the blender out, I think, than Claude, and you'll see guys moving around a little more and a bit more like Terrian was. Maybe not that manic, but
Yeah. Well, speaking of the blender, Ducharme has already taken the blender to the power play lines, and we mentioned Armia and the offensive upside that Ducharme wants to bring on. And Armia is on the first wave of the power play, and he's the net front presence, and he has Drouin on the point as the quarterback. So that's an interesting look.
yeah, then Duran's got a fair, he gets on the point a fair bit on the power play, but he can be I like him on the point actually on the power play because he has such good puck skills. Um, when he's on, he creates a lot of chances. He just got such great edges and such great hands. Um, I think it makes sense to have him back there because none of the defensemen are really true power play quarterbacks like that can handle the puck like Drew. So you risk a little bit with the breakaways and stuff like that, perhaps with him, but I don't think he's been too bad in that regard.
No.
As far as he's tidied up his careless passes that were risky, that caused turnovers and breakaways going the other way. So I like that. And Armia, well, if you know, about 5-10 times a year, you see that where you say, geez, this guy, if he ever put it all together, could be a 25-30 goal scorer. But we'll see. I mean, give him the chance again, and if you can ever get some consistency to his game, he's got a lot of tools. There's no doubt.
Yeah, he is a puck possession machine when he gets going. But on a power play with a 6'4" frame in front of the net, that's a big help. Toffoli's in the bumper spot on that first wave, so he could possibly create the screens that they require, and he could bury a couple quick rebounds,
Yeah, he
much like
could.
Gallagher does at 5-on-5.
I was going to
Not
say
quite to that level.
he could be the next Desharnais. Remember when Desharnais used to screen the goalie there? That was his job.
Darnay
Uh,
on stilts.
well, for some reason, he was the guy. They
Yep.
Terrian trotted him out and said, "You stand in front of the goalie and you screen his chest. Make sure that his chest does not see the puck." That was for years. That was the strategy of Terrian. No, Armia, yeah, can actually screen a goalie.
Yep.
So I like that. I like it. In concept, it sounds great. Um, he's never been a really garbage goal type guy that
No.
gets the rebounds in close necessarily, but who knows? Maybe he can at least screen the goalie, get Drouin shooting. I noticed last game I don't know if you noticed, but he attempted more shots at least,
Yes, he did.
and I think that Ducharme's reminding him of, hey, remember in junior when you scored 35, 40 goals? You shot the puck. So
Yep.
get Armia screening, Drouin not just looking past every time when he gets it at the point back there on the left hand side. Get some shots in. If you have a screen, who knows what can happen. So hopefully Ducharme can inspire Drouin to get more shots on goal. And how many goals are scored on deflections and screens and all that? Montreal needs a little more garbage goals, I think, than they have been getting, and hopefully that's Ducharme's thinking on this.
Yeah, it does seem that in practice they didn't do any line rushes. They worked on situational plays and special teams, and so the onus is being put onto the players to execute. Um, so I'm expecting a little bit better out of them when it comes to shot selection in the next few games. I don't know if that's going to translate to more goals, but at the very least, it should translate to more high danger chances.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Burrows. It's nice to have a new guy in there running things, and we'll see. We'll see if a little change in philosophy can lead to. Because I don't think it's ever. It certainly in the last couple of years, the talent is there to do well on the power play. I think it's always been there. It's just execution, for whatever reasons, has not been happening. And yeah, maybe with a little change in philosophy, it could be a little tweaking is all it needs. Hopefully.
Well, we'll find out tonight when the Canadians take on the Winnipeg Jets. It's a late game, so I hope everyone had a nap to get ready for tonight's game. Unless you're on the West Coast, like our friend Veronica, she's pretty excited for a 7 p.m. start Pacific time. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, that's right. She won't be falling asleep in the third period like I have a couple times this year.
no, she won't. Sadly, she's been gloating about it, so we're gonna have to deal with that at least. Uh, so
Yeah,
before we sign off, I'd like to remind all our viewers to go to recruits.ca, subscribe, and possibly get a chance to win a Suzuki reverse retro jersey. And there's even a cash prize available as well, isn't there?
$700. I think the odds are like 150 to 1 that you can win $700 if you subscribe between now and March 15th. So, I mean, getting paid money to subscribe, that's a pretty good deal.
And even if you don't win, you end up with great content and the draft prospectus that will be coming out later in the year, before the draft. So for me, it's a must read every year. It gives you a great view of every every prospect that's going to be coming up that's worth following. So go to recruits.ca, subscribe, and win.
Prospectus. I hadn't thought of calling it that. I might have to change the name.
Every now and then, I have a good idea. Every now and then.
Yeah, for sure.
Wasn't
Sounds
when
good,
I
Blain.
wasn't when I joined the forces, but it's a good idea now.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching, and go Habs go.